Hi, everyone. My name is Ginger Mattison, and I'm here with journalist, host, producer, founder, and CEO of Summertime Productions, Miss Summer
Yes.
Hill. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So, we're going into 1 year of Summertime Productions. How do you feel? Like, is it anything you've ever dreamed?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do this. I didn't know this is what it was going to look like or feel like or be like, but I'm really grateful for what it is.
Good. In your first episodes of It's Summertime, it was by yourself. So, like,
Mhm.
what was the transition of doing it by yourself and then with like other people, interviewing other people, groups of people?
Yeah, so I knew when I got started, I'm like, I just need to do it. Like, I don't know what I want it to look like yet. I don't know what I want it to feel like yet, but I just have to do something. Like, I need to just do it because I've been sitting on this idea my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, to get started, I'm gonna just, you know, talk to the camera, talk to the screen and see how that goes. And I did that. I did 4 episodes of that. And they were topics that I really cared about. So I was like, it should flow, but I didn't like it. I was like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
Like I need to interact with someone. So then I transitioned to like, okay, let me do events and like interview artists at the events. And that was too quick. Like I need to be able to sit down. So finally I sat down with someone. I'm like, okay, this is my area right here.
And that all started because you're a journalist and you
Mm.
started your journalism journey at Howard. So, how did Howard prepare you? Like, what was the one thing you really learned from it?
Oh my gosh. One thing I really learned from Howard, like Howard was one of my best decisions I've ever made. Like, I don't know what 18-year-old
I
me was
agree,
thinking.
honestly.
Yeah. But I'm glad she was thinking because I'm so glad I went to Howard. But um, yeah, I got into journalism at Howard and it was really like the people I met and connected with. I've always known like communication was my gift. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what can I study that really helps my gift? And it was journalism. So like Professor Thomas, Professor Walker. Like I had so many different teachers who really guided me on this path and like affirmed me on this path. So I guess
Yeah.
at Howard I learned that like I'm actually good at this. So let me do it.
And you say like communications is your calling. When I was, doing a little research, I saw that you used to do poetry. And
That
I
is
saw
so
that you did the
funny.
poetry at an Omega Psi Phi pageant.
Yeah, I did. I
Hmm.
did. I
So
did.
like
How
how
did
did
you see that?
I got my ways. So what led you to poetry and like what led you to cultivating writing? Was that always a part of who you were just from a little kid?
Yeah, like you know how when you're in high school, elementary school, middle school, you have a favorite subject? Like
Hmm.
mine was always lunch and writing cuz it just, it was a, a release of creativity,
Yeah.
right? So I always wrote. I actually wrote a poem in 6th grade that was published in a book. And I was like, okay, I like this. This is
Really?
fun. So I just kept writing. And I don't know if I call myself like a good poet because that's like subjective, right? Like,
Hmm.
but it feels good. So I did it. So for the Omega Sci Fi pageant, I don't have any other, like, I didn't know what talent, like, I'm not a singer, I'm not a dancer. So I was like, I'm gonna write a poem. So actually, though, for that one, it was by my grandfather and my friend Kayla Tate helped me write that poem. And I performed it and, yeah, won Miss Purple and Gold.
Yes, I did see you. I was gonna bring that up if you didn't bring it up. Um, so like going back to Howard and how it was such a great decision, I feel that same way because I feel like it connected me with so many people
Mm-hmm.
and it connected me with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been able to just connect with a bunch of other Howard kids, especially with your Howard and NPR collaboration. So how
Mm-hmm.
was that getting together and then being able to do Tiny Desk with Jeezy?
Well, I thought it was a good experience, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, the students that came thought it was a good experience too. While we got a lot of negative feedback online, I just had to
Really?
remember like the point of this was to connect students with NPR. That was the whole
Mm-hmm.
goal, and I was able to do that. And while doing that, you were able to see a panel. You were able to see a tiny desk, which is cool. But everywhere I go, every job I've ever been in, I'm always trying to figure out like how do I bring Howard into this
Yeah.
job? Like how do we get more Howard students into here? So I was happy with the outcome.
Okay. I know a lot of Howard students was happy.
Were
I've seen it
they?
on every story, every post. Like, yeah, you connected a lot of people. And I know Trinity, you
Yep.
kind of connected with her, and that's how a
Yep.
lot of Howard students got brought into it. And we were just talking about you the other day. She was like, do you know Summer? I was like, yeah, I know Summer. That's my like mentor. That's my boss. Like, I know her. But she
Not
was
your
like very
vibes.
impressed, and everybody loved it. So even though
Good.
there's hate online, you
Yeah,
did a
we
great
brushed
job.
that off. We brushed that off. No, but Trinity was really helpful in that. Like, I had to connect with the Howard students because I didn't have anyone on campus who I could like
Mm-hmm.
facilitate these conversations with. So I was like, Trinity. She was
Yeah,
like, oh yes, of course, and she was really helpful.
yeah. Even going on your Instagram, so we have a lot of like work related content, a lot of time things with Summertime Productions, but you're also a model. You got a lot of pictures on there. So like, where did your passion for modeling come through?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a model. Like it just always looked fun to me. So like when I was younger, living in Toronto, my mom would take me to like modeling agencies and I'd like try out, but I would never get
Mhm.
it. I remember one time this agency told me I needed to lose weight. I was
Really?
like,
Wait, no.
where?
'Cause
I'm not
literally where
losing any
though?
weight. Like, no. So I was like, again, same as this. I'm like, well, I'll just do it on my own. So I just like to take pictures every now and then. It's
Mhm.
fun, it's creative. Like, what I realized right now is like, I like to be the subject. And I
Okay,
think that
real.
that's why we're doing this today. But that's also why, like, I like to model and work in this field because I have main character syndrome. So
And that's real. And don't let anybody make you feel bad about that.
thank you.
I think maybe like it's a Gemini quality. I'm a Gemini moon,
True, you
Gemini
did say that.
sun.
So you have main character syndrome too?
Yes, I do definitely have main character syndrome. I just think like it's something with journalists. Like
Mm-hmm.
we like to talk, we like to talk about ourselves. We like to talk about anything.
Nosy, curious,
Very
talkative.
nosy,
Are
very
you an only
curious.
child? You're not an only child.
No, I have a brother, and
You're
I
the
know you have a brother too though.
yes,
So
yes.
like how has that been like being a little sister? Cause me being a little sister, like I'm definitely a pest. I definitely
Mm,
annoy him, but like he
mhm.
loves me. Like you have
Yeah.
no choice to.
No, it's fun. Like my brother is a year and 3 days older than me, so we kind of grew up as like I like to call us twins, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people thought we were twins growing up. Yes, I used to purposely annoy him so bad, but it was so fun, and now we're very
It is
close.
so
He has
fun.
two sons, twins right now, and it
Yes.
has been incredible. So much fun playing with them and like watching them grow. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have a sister and a niece as well, and she's 13. So it's just crazy to see like the little kids growing.
The little kids growing.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about ooh, I don't want to wait. I was gonna ask something, but I don't know. I don't want to ask it.
You can ask it.
Ooh, I don't know, because I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, ooh, I actually don't know how to frame it.
How is it in your head right now?
Because I'm like, well, okay, speaking of little kids,
Oh,
like,
do I want to have?
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I want to
Okay.
have children one day. I think that'd be so much fun. But in a minute because I
Now
got some
looking at it
stuff to
right
do
now.
and I gotta find a man, girl.
Okay, and that's
That's the
real.
hard
And the
part.
dating scene is actually terrible.
Oh,
It's terrible.
that's
And
the hard part.
I don't really think I'm interested in getting out there. How about you? Like,
Mm,
is that something you want to do right now?
it seems like such a job. Like it seems like such a chore. Like I don't want to focus on that right now. And I don't. They're just a distraction. Like I was thinking the other day. I don't think I would have been this far with summertime if I was in a relationship.
And that's real.
I just don't want. I just can't.
Sometimes men really do hold you
They
back.
do, especially like the low key haters and the low key
Yeah.
jealous
A lot
ones.
of men try to humble
Yeah,
you.
they
And
do.
you have a lot on your resume, so
Yeah,
they will really like come
they
out the
really try.
woodworks.
And what's so hard is that like it's hard to find a man that's like on your level or higher.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen.
Do you feel like you'd see them more in DC or like maybe back home in St. Louis
Oh,
or
they're
like
absolutely not in St. Louis. I don't know where they are, girl. If you find them, tell me because I don't know. They're not here. I mean, there are good men here, cool men, but not my man. I don't know
Yeah.
where he's at.
Okay, but maybe they're international because you do go a lot of places.
I like
I
to
saw
travel.
that as of December, you've been to 29
Mhm.
countries.
Yes, I
So
have.
like how has traveling been like what's your travel routine? Because you have to, build up a lot to go all those places.
Yeah, well, me and my mom and my cousin are actually going to Europe on the 5th of May.
Mhm.
Well, when this comes out, we'll have already gone. But anyway, Lisbon, Saint Tropez, Lake Como, and Mykonos. And I'm so excited. But
Mm.
I've been traveling forever. Like I moved when I was 12 years old to Toronto. And that really opened my eyes to traveling. But before then, we used to like take trips to Florida or to Hawaii. So my parents like to travel,
Mhm.
so naturally I just did too. But really what it was when I studied abroad in Barcelona. Um,
Really?
yeah, and I just hopped all over Europe and I just felt so free and I met so many cool people and like tried so many different foods. Like that's what life is about to me. So that's why I'm doing all of this so I can travel when I want to.
So going back to Toronto, there's a certain rapper that has been causing a lot of mayhem recently. How do you feel about what Drake has been doing in his beefs?
Girl, I don't feel about Drake. Like he makes good music, but like when it comes to his whatever else he has going on, I don't pay any
It's a
attention
lot.
at
It's a
all.
lot.
Tell me it cuz I don't even know. What he's beefing with
He's
people.
beefing with Kendrick. He's beefing with Future. He's beefing with Metro Boomin. He's beefing with Rick Ross.
Is it real though or is it just like
They've been throwing shots at each other, like back and forth in their music. But
but
I
wasn't he
mean,
meant to be beefing with Future and then just did something with Future?
well, that's the thing. So they said that Future feels like him and Drake and 21 Savage's new album kind of overshadowed What a Time to Be Alive.
That's his fault. That's Future's fault. You should have made a better
And it's
album.
but can we like really fault it because Future is kind of insecure.
Yeah.
He's like 40 and
You're
making the music he
literally.
makes.
Yeah, and
No shade to Future though.
no shade to Future, but I will say this to Future. Future, if you ever watch this, like you need to expand. Like the
No,
music he was making in
literally.
2016, that was innovative. That was new. That felt good. But now it's like you're still making that same music. Like,
So
please.
being a journalist and like tapping into culture, you might have to listen to something. You might switch to like music journalism. If a lot of rap is becoming a lot like misogynistic, like how would you as a journalist like navigate that path?
Yeah. Well, it is misogynistic. And like as a journalist, you have to have a level of cognitive dissonance when you're like
Mhm.
dealing with people and topics that bother you, right? So like if you're talking to a misogynistic man or if you're talking to a politician that doesn't necessarily align with you or just anybody who has different views than you have to be able to step back and like have an objective conversation like let me just talk to you and get the facts from you and then you present those facts. But it is hard. Like
Mm.
when I'm interviewing people for summertime or like deciding who I'm going to interview, I really have to do a vibe check because I'm
Yeah,
like, if I don't align with you or
it
want to
might throw
promote,
it off. It's
it's
going to
going to
throw
throw
it
the
off
vibes. It's going to throw the vibes, and I don't want to do that
every single time.
every time.
So, has there ever been a story you've reported on where you're like, I can't do this. Like, I have to step back.
Yes, I used to work at Fox.
Oh.
That was really
Oh, wait, hold
while I was
on.
at Howard, I worked at Fox and my job was to like mic people up. Like I was on the bookings
Mhm.
team. And so like people and this was when Trump was president. So people would come in there, I'd mic them up, they'd defend Trump, and
Yeah.
then they'd leave. And like in my head, I'm like, I'm really giving these people a platform to speak. Like I'm the reason you're speaking on air right now. So that was really hard for me because I like they were coming on here saying crazy stuff and I didn't that was really hard.
Yeah.
That was really hard, but I was just like, okay, this is a challenge for me. This is an opportunity for me to grow. So let me step out of who I am and just do the job and get paid and go.
And when he was elected, you were at Howard.
Mhm.
So, how did the like maybe it didn't change at Howard per se because it's a HBCU, but how did DC change at like as a city or
Yeah,
as a
I mean,
district?
well, actually, when he was elected, I was studying abroad in Barcelona, and that
Mm.
was interesting because I remember like my host parents used to be watching TV and laughing, like America is such a joke, and would be laughing. I'm like, this is not funny, like. But when I came back to Howard, like the culture, like everybody was so charged up. Everybody was
Yeah.
like marching and not rioting, marching and starting new organizations and coalitions and talking on the news. So I was a part of all of that because that was fun for me and
Yeah.
I like organizing and I was just standing up for something I really believed in. So it was really charged up and I'm grateful I was at Howard at that time.
Yeah. I wish I mean, maybe I don't wish I was like in college at that time, but I definitely wish I was in a different environment. I
Mhm.
think Howard would have changed maybe a lot for
Cuz you
me
were
in
in
terms of
Atlanta.
yeah, I was in
How were they
Atlanta.
reacting?
Um, well, I'm from the south side of Atlanta, but I went to school on the north side. which was very white. If you know
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Springs, Roswell area,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a different environment for me. They were very outward because like I'm in Atlanta, but I'm still in Georgia,
Yeah.
and it was
Still the
still
South.
like, girl, it's
Yeah.
Trump town now.
Oh
Like
my
I don't care.
God. So it's Trump Town.
So yeah,
So how did
super
you
Trump
deal
town.
with that?
Um, I said I didn't want to deal with it. I told my mom I was only applying to HBCUs, and I
Mm.
came over here.
Oh, so that's what that was the catalyst?
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
catalyst.
wow.
I already like have a lot of family in like my father was born in 1956, my mom in 1960.
Mm-hmm.
So like their experiences kind of shaped me.
Mm-hmm.
South side of Atlanta is all black, and so going up there, I was already like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was like, oh, y'all got me good. Like, I'm never coming back up here.
Mm.
But it's like 4 years later, we have Biden. And going from there, like, again, I'm going to ask you the same question. Like, how did DC change from Trump to Biden?
Yeah, so I was graduated by the time Biden got reelected, and I was living in Charlotte at the time because I had
Mm,
moved for the pandemic. Um, so it seemed like everything seemed like a lot cooler. Like I remember right before it was like, the insurrection at the Capitol, and like that was just crazy. And it was COVID, and that was crazy. So when Biden got elected, like everything kind of calmed down. There was no more
yeah.
riots, there was no more protests. It was just like kind of chill for a second. So I don't know how DC changed because I wasn't here, but it just seemed like America got a little bit more chill.
Chiller.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of COVID, you were about like maybe like 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
Um, me being
4
that
years
age right now, I'm kind of losing my mind.
now. Mm.
So how did you do your early 20s in a pandemic?
Girl, you know what? Like, yes, it was a pandemic and everyone was dying. And that was scary and
Mm,
extremely unfortunate. And I am sorry to everyone who lost someone. However, for me, the lockdown was very peaceful. Like,
really?
I sat in the house and chilled.
You got back on your poetry?
No. I didn't do any poetry. I was chilling. Like I was working from home. I like that. I like working from home. I like being in my little cocoon and chilling. Like I'm a homebody. I like being at home. So I really wasn't impacted too strong. Like obviously I was scared of getting COVID and like the people around me and my
Right.
family, like I'm concerned for their safety. But I liked being at home. And then like part of it, I was in Louisiana, I was in Charlotte, I was in Miami. So I was just sitting down in the warmth, chilling.
Just like, okay.
Yeah.
So if you can remember, did you start any new shows during the pandemic? Because I know that was like the perfect time to binge.
Yes, I did. May I Destroy You, Michaela Cole. Did you watch that on HBO?
It sounds familiar.
Oh my gosh, that was really
Michaela
good.
Cole sounds familiar, but
That was
I don't
really
think I've
good.
watched it, no.
I watched a lot of stuff. I don't even remember, but yes, I binged a lot of shows during COVID.
Have you seen Insecure?
Yes.
I watched it like this summer
For the first
for
time?
the first time.
Oh my gosh, Ginger.
My best friend is like, we call her like a mini Issa because she's just like that. Like,
Oh,
it's insane. But she was like, Ginger, you have to watch it. And I was like, I tried the first episode. I couldn't get with it.
oh my gosh.
And that was the same for me with maybe like Sex in the City.
Okay,
Have
and
you tried that?
I'm watching Sex in the City right now.
Okay.
Like as an adult, I love it. Like girl,
I
I
love it
literally go home every night.
too.
Well, do you love Insecure now?
I do love Insecure,
Okay.
yes.
Because we
I
don't do
binged
Issa
it.
slander.
No, Issa's my girl. Issa's my girl. She's very talented.
She's my dream interview.
Really.
Once I
we're
get her, I'm
you're
probably
get
gonna
that. Pack it up.
pack it up
And be like, I'm
be
done.
Yeah,
And post that everywhere and be like,
everywhere.
did y'all get Issa Rae? Because I
No.
got Issa Rae.
Yeah, that's gonna be iconic, and I know I'm gonna do it.
You are.
It's gonna happen soon. I just don't know how or when, but it's gonna happen.
So this is the 1 year. So we're gonna circle up for the 2nd
Mhm.
year, and you're gonna have that interview.
Yeah.
We're claiming it now.
Yep.
Everybody knows.
Issa, if you're watching this, it's me and you.
So okay, going back to Sex in the City, like what character do you think you
That is so funny because me and my
resonate
mom
with?
were just talking about that last night. I'm Carrie. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Summer.
What?
No.
Why?
Carrie, she's not smart.
Oh, I mean, girl, listen, Amanda Seals, listened to one of her podcasts one day. I sat in and watched, and she was like, smart woman, dumb girl.
Yeah.
I kinda have done that. But as far as like, she's a writer, and then she's like,
okay, I get that.
she's fun, and she like hangs out with her friends, and she cares about her friends, and like, you know.
I
She
just
dates
I
around.
don't know how far you've gotten. So
Oh,
I
I'm in.
can't.
Okay, I'm in. I just got to season 4.
Okay. Have you heard of Aiden yet?
Yes, I know she fumbled Aiden.
She fumbled Aiden so bad,
She
and that's
fumbled
why I can
Aiden.
never forgive her. I could be like, okay, girl, you doing your thing with Big, like you just lopsy loopsy do do
Yeah, that
do.
now that's silly.
But that was a man.
She fumbled
That
Aiden.
was a man.
I wonder if they're gonna circle back. Don't tell me, but I
I
do
well,
wonder. But who are you?
um. Well, I would say I'm a mix of Miranda and Samantha.
Okay.
I didn't like Miranda at first because I was like, girl,
Mm,
you are so
right.
uptight. But I think she has boundaries and
She
a backbone, and
does.
it's like, girl, you are not
She
gonna play in my
does.
face.
She
You look
does.
stupid. You're not gonna have me look
Yeah.
stupid. And I respect that.
She does that. So I'm a little bit of Miranda, but I need to get better with my boundaries.
Hmm.
But I do have some Miranda.
Yeah, and it's like maybe Miranda is who I want to be in terms of that.
Okay.
Samantha, I feel like if I went on a binge of like the last 4 years of Howard,
Mm-hmm.
she's just
Rightfully
she's just
so.
crazy.
She
She's just
is.
crazy, but
She's
it's a good crazy.
unapologetic, which I like.
Yes, and nobody can shame her, and
Mhm.
nobody can shame her.
She don't feel bad
And
at all.
literally,
But I think, honestly, I think I'm a little bit of each one of them.
yeah, definitely, definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. They all have great aspects of like of what a woman of what a great woman should be.
Mhm.
But it's like, okay, those faults, and you're watching, and it's like, oh, I see you, like
And I know
you,
so many women
yeah,
like that too. Like I feel like they there's good personalities on there because we know women like that.
right,
We can even see
exactly.
ourselves in these women.
So even in seeing yourself right now, like say in the next 5 years, like who do you want Summer Hill to be?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Summer Hill in 5 years. I'm going to be wealthy. Let's start there.
Exactly.
But wealthy in money, in opportunities, in experiences, in love, in health, in family. Like I want all of that. Um, but yeah, I want Summertime Productions to be a household name. I want people to call me for interviews because they like my interview style. I
Mhm.
want to like host big events. I want to be at like Rock Nation brunch and like the Emmy. I
Period.
want to win an Emmy. I
And
want
you're
to win
going
a
to win an
Grammy too and an
Emmy.
Oscar. Like I want to
Yeah.
win all of
He
them.
got you.
Yes,
He got
exactly. A
you.
Pulitzer, I want that too. I want the MacArthur Award. The reason I know this, like right off the top of my head, is because I literally wrote this in my journal the other day. Like all the awards I want to win,
Hmm.
the rooms I want to be in. Like, yeah. Hmm.
So like journaling, like that helps you. Like I really want to get into journaling, but I can't. It's something about like, oh, I can't put it to paper.
Well, that's something you need to look inside yourself and say, why can't I write this down? Do I not
Hmm.
believe it? But no, honestly, not journaling, but listing. Like I go and write lists all the time. Like Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and I just write it out so that way I could just check it off. But like, actually sitting there and write, today I want to, I'm not really big into that.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that the like
But you gotta find what works
the
for you.
daily I can't do. I'll
Yeah.
probably I'm like a ranter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or okay, so then for that, what I'll do is if I feel like I need to get a rant off, I will turn on my camera and just sit it up and
Mm.
rant. For like I had to go through and clear out my phone. I was clearing out like 20-minute long rants the other day.
But that's
It
therapeutic.
is. It's
That's
therapeutic.
therapeutic.
Yeah, I'm really
Especially
glad.
when therapy is needed. Right
Hmm.
now, therapy is needed like
Therapy is
a lot.
needed.
I've seen this conversation on Twitter where everybody's kind of like, what's going on? Like everybody's turning to God. Like everybody needs help. Like where do you find your solace? Where do you find your peace?
On the beach. Like
Mm.
whenever if you ever check my location, I'm on the beach, you're like, okay, she she probably going through something. No, I like to sit at the water and just like and then I get in it and I like look at it as like a baptism. Like I really
Mm-hmm.
get in it. But no, I rely heavily on like my spiritual connections that I have and my connection with myself. Is that my phone? Did you answer? Here? We'll get him after dinner. Um, yeah, but dad has dad's rings. Yours does too. Did you see her face? Did you turn the sound off? Okay.
Okay.
I rely heavily on the connection I have with myself that I've built, like the spiritual
Mm-hmm.
connection, like the God within me. I rely heavily on that. Cause like if you think about it, like you really know all the answers.
Yeah.
You really know what's best for you. And I know that because it was given to me by God, right?
Right.
So I just try to go inward and find that, or go to the beach and find that, or go in nature and find that.
So if I did not know your sign, I would think like, okay, she's a water sign, she's an earth sign.
Really?
Yeah, because you're, well, yeah, actually,
Mm.
probably. But so do you know your big three?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm a Gemini, Gemini Sag. So I'm
Whoa.
straight air. I'm up here floating all the time.
That's great. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie, that's crazy.
I know it's kind of chaotic in here,
That's super
but
chaotic,
it's so
but
fun.
I can't say anything because like everybody says the same about
What's
mine.
yours?
I'm Aries, Gemini, Scorpio.
Oh my gosh, you are Samantha Miranda.
No, like literally.
Wow, that's
Literally.
fun.
It's
That's
fun.
chaotic too.
Until it's like you're really in chaos and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to be in more chaos to get
Mm-hmm.
out of this chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot going on
It's a
all the
lot.
time.
And then for me, like being a double Gemini, there's like I'm always I'm always indecisive. Like I'm always
Yeah.
stuck. Like I
Always in
don't
your
know
head.
yet. Yeah. My brain doesn't turn off. Like it's
Yeah,
just constant.
literally.
I don't want to sound crazy, but it is constant chatter
No,
in
I
my head.
understand. I understand. It's like nobody, and it's like you really, I don't know, sometimes even when I'm asleep, I can still, and I'm like,
It doesn't
yo,
turn off.
calm down.
I
Like it's
wonder
not that
though,
serious.
sometimes I wonder is that ADHD? I'm like, do I need medication? Because sometimes, like, if I'll drink coffee or something, like I can lock in and get focused. I'm like, oh, is this what a normal brain
Yeah.
feels like?
But it's like, okay, have you ever thought about getting tested?
Yeah, but I'm
Really?
grown now. I'm like, what?
Real? I mean, a lot of people are getting tested just for a
Yeah.
lot of things, just the stigma in the Black community about mental
Hmm.
health and
No, you're
mental
right. You're
illness.
right. I think it would be helpful to know for certain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
maybe
then
I
just
will.
take if you don't want to do anything, like it's like okay, like I've been functioning without it for
Right.
so long, but just to know,
Yeah.
like, and how do you feel about like mental health advocacy?
Oh my gosh, I that's so important to me because just as a young woman and everything that I've seen, like
Hmm.
so many different people dealing with so many different things without an outlet, without knowing how to properly communicate it or express it. It's really important for me to provide that space for people, but I'm
Hmm.
not a therapist, right? So like I can give you the space and give you the love, but I can't give you like
Right.
what you
The
need in
official
order to,
steps,
yeah, to
like
get
yeah,
better. So it's so important to me. I know so many people who are out here and just um they really need help. They do. And so I try to advocate it for every chance I get. Like most of my interviews, you'll see I'm bringing it up in some way or another. Like, how do you take care of yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Like,
hmm,
what does good communication look like to you? Like, those are all things I'm thinking about very often, and that I am observing when I'm like having a conversation with someone. And that's important to me when I find my person. Like, how is your mental
yeah,
health? Like, do you know how to effectively problem solve?
exactly. Effectively communicate. Like, do
Yeah.
you bottle it up? Because if you bottle it up, but you not for me.
Mm-mm.
But I
Mm-mm.
think that's also something that leads me to journalism. And I'm sure
Mm.
you too, just like the need to help people that
Mm-hmm.
can't do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what, and I know I kind of asked this earlier, but like, has there ever been like a story? Like, we talked to Jonquilyn Hill and her story was Relisha Rudd. Like, has there ever been that story where it's like, this is why I'm a journalist?
Hmm. I feel like it happens all the time. Like I have talked to so many different people that their story really sparked something in me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was in Howard, I interviewed. Her name is Tiffany D. Lofton, and we were at the March for Your Lives campaign. And I did an interview with her, and I was just like, what are you doing here? Like, what is this? What does this mean for you?
Right,
And she went off, like in a good way, like,
right.
and it went viral. It went everywhere. Like everyone was so sparked by what she was saying and what she was standing for. So it's just moments like that that are so affirming, or even the small moments that are like, I'll do a story or I'll have an interview. Like a couple weeks ago, I interviewed this group of young men about love, and
Mm-hmm.
people have messaged me like, "Wow, thank you so much for that. Like, that really changed my view or sparked conversation." I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's why I do it. So it's not one particular story, but all of them have really motivated me in some way or another.
And I think it was a great interview, primarily because like how we're sitting here, we were just like, oh my God, these men are not do 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 do. A lot of people hear from the women's perspective, and like it might be negative, and it might be like there's reason for it to be negative. Like we don't understand what's going on in the male
Mhm.
psyche. Like
Mhm.
what makes you tick? What's making you do
Mhm.
what you need to do? So it was
Mhm.
like very insightful, and I took a couple keys from that interview.
Yeah, I did
I took a
too.
couple
I
notes.
left that interview like, wow, I learned a lot. Like y'all
Yeah,
taught me a lot, and it helped me like move with more grace with men, cuz I am quick to be like, I don't ever want to talk to y'all again. Like I'm good.
me
We're
too.
good. But that conversation, I'm like, oh, y'all need help. So
Yeah,
back to the mental health, y'all need help.
literally. And I think that's just a hard thing to just navigate because Black women can kind of get put into the mommy role.
Mhm.
And I'm 22, I'm not nobody's mom. So I can't sit here and raise you and hold your hand and hope to you, but it's like I want to be a partner who can be affirming and there
Mhm.
for you. And I don't know, just even looking at just what Black women have to carry, like that episode highlighted a lot of what Black men have to carry.
Mhm.
So just looking at what we have to carry and what the expectations we have to be like, that's just hard to live up to.
It is. It is. It is. And I choose not to. Like
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to a therapist the other day. Well, not the other day, it was like 2 years ago. And I was just telling her all these different things that I felt. And she was like, Summer, you don't have to carry any of that. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, those are narratives you're carrying and you're doing it by choice. You don't have to. And I was like, oh. So I just let a lot of it just fly off of me. Like, I'm not
Hmm.
doing that anymore.
Was there like a specific narrative that you were like, maybe they had baggage you down for maybe
Mm,
like years and you were like, when it got off, I'm like, thank God, like I'm
hmm.
free.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot that like I'm still trying to get off of me. Like, but the one that she was talking about is like I was comparing myself to like other people that were successful and like
Mm,
I have to be on this timeline. She's like, for what? No, you don't. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I guess I don't. I guess I can kind of be on my own timeline. So that was one of the main ones. But we've talked about so many, like, there are moments where you make a bad decision. You're like, oh my gosh, I make dumb decisions. And then it's in your head, I make dumb decisions. And then every time it comes to a decision making time, you're like, I'm going to make a dumb decision. You
Yeah.
don't have to carry that. You've made a poor choice, maybe more than one, but that's just life. And you don't have to carry that.
It's so interesting that you talk about like comparing your path because I have a friend who left Howard our sophomore year. And just last night, she was asking me, because like Spring Fest, like we went out,
Mm-hmm.
she asked me, like, I don't know if I made the right decision. Like, I
Mm,
think I should have stayed. And I'm like, girl, I look at you and I'm like, you are doing it. And then I brought you up and I'm like, Summer just does X, Y, and Z. And maybe she does not feel like it because I know I don't feel like it. People could be looking at me. It's so crazy how there's just so many different perspectives and
mm-hmm.
viewpoints, and you might put yourself in a box, but nobody else is.
Right. It's all in your head. Like it's
Yeah.
literally what you've created for yourself. Cause like I'll look at this and be like, dang, I thought I was gonna be further by now. But like
Yeah.
I'm happy with, like I have you that's when you have to start operating in like a grateful mindset. Like just operating in gratitude. Like I am happy for where I am right now
Yeah.
and staying present. Cause if you start getting in the future or the past, you're gonna get, stressed out.
But I want you to know that, like, it is kind of shocking for me to be like, for you, or for me to hear, like,
Mm.
you don't feel like you're there. Cause I'm looking at you like, Summer is literally where I want to be. Like, literally, ever
It's
since I met
perspective.
you, with like me applying to that internship, I was just like, oh my gosh, like she is on the track that I literally want to follow.
Mm.
So don't ever think that, girl. Like you doing it
Thank
well.
you. No, thank you. And that does feel good to hear because when I was 21, 22, I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to do this so bad. Like, how do I get
Mhm.
here? And you just have to keep going till you get here. But as Summertime Productions' first intern, how does that feel? Like, what kind of things have you enjoyed working on or learned since you've been here?
I think getting the opportunity to do this is like really big because kind of like what you were talking about, communications, like you knew it was for you and I had that same feeling, but I think sometimes I can, like when you are on a God destined path, the devil can try to come in and be like,
Mm-hmm.
So over the past few years, like I'd never wanted to do this, get in front of a camera and talk and like, or I'd psych myself out really bad. And I've
Mm-hmm.
psyched myself out of so many opportunities off of thinking like I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So like you give me the platform and the opportunity to do it. It's like showing me, okay, you can do it, girl. Like you
You
fine.
can.
And like going up to New York and looking at different companies,
Mm-hmm.
um, I met with somebody and they were basically giving me their whole rundown of their job, and I was like, "Oh, I do that with Summer. So
Yeah.
let me slide this
Yeah.
resume to you. Like, let
Yeah,
me get hired
exactly.
right now because I have the skill
Exactly.
set."
Yeah. No,
So
that was
yeah.
important for me. I'm like, that's why when you got started, I'm like, what is it that you want to do? Like, what are the
Hmm.
things that you want to learn? What are the skills you want to get? Okay, now how can we give them to you? And so I'm glad that you've been able to get something. I know it's not a long internship, but I'm glad that at the least you've gotten this. Like,
No, it's fun,
um,
but it's like even past the internship, I made the connection.
mm-hmm.
And like even beyond journalism, like I know you're somebody I can reach out to and I can talk to, even if I'm like, Summer Girl, this dude, like I don't know about him. Like I know I
Girl,
could talk to you about it.
yeah.
So that's just been very rewarding. Like and also not really understanding the people that you touch. Like that's a big thing too. Cause I told
Mm-hmm.
you like ever since that internship, I was like
Oh
Summer
yeah,
Hill, like Summer
yeah.
Hill, I know her. And so like this is just a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, no, thank you
Mhm.
for doing it. Like, I'm really glad you could be, girl. I'm telling you, you've been really helpful. Like,
I
truly,
got you, you know.
truly. I be like, oh my gosh, like, doing this by yourself is hard. Like,
Hmm.
running a company and a podcast by yourself is so hard. Like, I just want to shout out Khalif and 12 Studios for a second
Yes.
because I was doing this like you mentioned, like the when I was
The
just talking,
solo.
yeah, the solo
Hmm.
videos, and he moved. The guy I was doing it with moved to LA, and I was like, what am I gonna do? After 2 episodes, he moved. I was like, what am I gonna do? And besides the fact he was charging me over $700 per episode, and I'm like, how am I
Mm.
gonna sustain? Like, how do I keep doing this? I
Right.
really don't know. And like, I'm searching, I'm looking, I'm worried. I'm like, I may have to stop. Like, I just got started, and then my angel Khalif came from the heavens and was like, "Do it here." And I'm like, "What you mean?" He was like, "We have a your
We
stuff
have
is
a
set up." He was like,
place.
"Send me some
Like our
pictures."
face is on the
Literally, I
wall.
sent some pictures. I did not think I swear to you, I was like, "Okay, maybe I'll just do it once or twice." This is my 12th episode.
Mhm. 12th
Yeah.
episode. That is literally like a season.
As a
Like that's a
season, I know.
season.
That's why I'm like, okay, well,
Like this is season finale
completed.
content.
Yes, yes, it is.
But I think even when people go into entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, oh yeah, I want to work for myself and I could
Mm-hmm.
do, and people don't understand how taxing it is. So like, was there any other challenges other than like the setup and the financial stipulations? Like,
Yeah, like starting your own business, there's so many logistics you have to think about. Like creatively, I think I knew I had an idea. So I was like,
mhm,
okay, I'm good creatively. Like marketing, I have an idea and I'm good there. Branding, I have an idea, I'm good there. But like the business side, the logistics, I've never taken a business class in my life.
yeah,
So when it came to like filing for my LLC and trademark, I'm like, I listen, I
I'm just
just
a
want okay.
girl. I'm literally just a girl.
Just the girl, don't know what I'm doing. So that's the hardest part. And it's like right as soon as you get over one task of like, okay, LLC, I'm good. Then it's like, well, do you have your trademark? Okay, trademark, I'm good. And then it just keeps going. So you
Mhm.
never know. You never know. So that's been the hardest part. But I'm glad that I have, entrepreneur friends and
Yeah.
mentors who I can chat with and help me.
But there's so many like different aspects of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have summertime productions, we have it's summertime, but you also have merchandise,
Mm-hmm.
which is right on this table. So like what went through like picking the colorways, picking what you wanted to sell.
Yeah, so I got my first piece of merch for myself. Like I
Mhm.
bought it and I was like, oh, okay. Well, actually, my mom got it for me. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Like I love it. And then somebody was like, oh, I want that. And I was like, hold on.
Business idea. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
So then we got more. We got the sweaters and then these two hats. And
Wearing one right now.
yeah, that's limited. That's limited. Only yeah, that's the only one that exists. And then I sold out. I was like, what? Like I never in a million years thought people were going to want to wear my name ever.
Mhm.
But I think people just do off like the support they have for me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so humbling. Like whenever somebody sends me a picture in summertime merch or like I see somebody, I've walked down the street and saw somebody in summertime merch before. And I was like, oh, it was the
Really?
coolest thing in the world. Like it
They're
really made my
very
day.
comfy.
Thank you.
Very comfy.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good sweatshirt. And I live in
Thank you.
sweatshirts.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'm like, yo, girl,
Yeah.
I'm about to buy a couple.
Yes,
A couple more.
please. You can have some more. And like the thing was though, like I like to dress comfy. Like you said,
Mhm.
live in sweatshirts. So I'm not doing, the cute, like it's cute, but it's comfortable.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
chill, comfortable, cute. So there's going to be a lot more.
A lot
Yeah.
more.
This
Just
is
in
fun.
time for the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Summertime in the summer.
Yep. Period.
So just watching your previous episodes, I know you said that you were gonna leave journalists off with one question.
Mm.
So you being a journalist yourself, I have to ask you, in your own opinion, what do you think will be the future of journalism?
Yeah. And like similar how Phil answered it, like it's you. Like you are the future of journalism. You are graduating this year. By the time this comes out, you will have graduated. And you are going to be the storyteller. You're going to be the one that people turn to and listen to because they know you and they're connected with you and they trust you. And so I think the future of journalism looks like the people in your class, in your journalism class right now, who are so excited to get out there and tell stories.
Yeah.
And like you, so excited to be here and work in this internship and interview me and try new things and challenge yourself and research. Like that's what it looks like. And I'm excited for it because I really trust those hands. Like, people often like stay with like the traditional route and like, well, this is what has worked. But I look forward to the new people who can bring innovation and like some fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's really has been exciting, like working with people like Trinity or Armani Washington. She's the current Miss Howard University, but she's also a journalism student. Just working with so many of my peers and seeing how like, oh, you can edit this fast, or you can like if I need you to do a stand-up, you can do it right then. It's like
There's so much talent. Yep.
They're
There's
so
so much
talented.
talent. There's so much. That's why every time like I'm anywhere, I reach back to Howard because I'm like, I know somebody at Howard can do it.
Somebody at Howard can definitely do it.
And
Definitely
what
do
you
it.
see now, like all these people doing cool things at Howard, like it doesn't stop there. Like they keep going. Like that motivation starts at Howard and it keeps going.
It does. And I'm looking at like HU 28 that's coming in now.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I know.
Is that where we're at?
We are at HU 28. Freshman class at HU 27. And they actually just had their ASD today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm HU 19. Like that's 10-year difference. What?
Yeah. How do you feel about that, actually?
Girl.
10 years.
I feel like, okay, so I've been graduated 5 this year. That time went by so fast. Like
it went by so fast.
I looked up and it's been 5 years. I feel like I'm still a wee little girl, like a sweet little girl who doesn't know what she's doing. That's how I still feel. Even though it doesn't look like that because I'm doing stuff, but I genuinely have no idea. Like
just trying to figure it out day by day, literally.
But it's fun. It's fun. Howard was one of the best moments of my life. After grad, it'll continue to be beautiful. So it's fun.
No, absolutely. Thank you all for joining us on a very special episode of It's Summertime, the 1-year anniversary with Miss Sommer Hill.
Yes.
And so thank you for coming and thank you for, on your own platform.
Yes, I know, my main character. No, thank you for being here and for interviewing me. Your questions were fantastic. I'm so excited to put this out into the world. Yay. Let's show them my cake.
Period.
365 days of summertime.